Good afternoon. My name is Dave Coker. We'd like to thank you for joining in on our session this afternoon. Now, in terms of the way this session is going to be organized, we're going to tell you a little bit about the institution, a little bit about the university, try to give you guys an idea about who we are and why you should consider studying with us. We're going to talk to you about London, and London, don't have to tell you much about, I guess. It's an exciting city. It's one of what we call a world city. So we'll talk to you about being a student. We've got Kavita, who will help you understand being a student in London. We'll have a Q&A session where you can ask us questions. And then we'll conclude by telling you what to do next. In other words, how you can take it forward, how you can join us. All right, so University of Westminster. Yeah, guys, we've been around a long time, about 175 years. That is the Queen of England. I won't say she's here frequently, but she has dropped by in the past for visits, and it's very exciting. So we're in the center of London. We're all over central London, and we've got a lot of stuff to offer, a lot that we can offer you as students if you'd like to join our institution. We've just completed, or we're in the tail end of completing a very large 30 million pound, a little bit over 30 million pound refurbishment program. So the facilities aren't 175 years old, even though the buildings have a lot of character. Inside, they're modern, state-of-the-art facilities for teaching, for instructing. We have all sorts of laboratories. I work in finance, and we have a financial markets suite, for instance, a Bloomberg laboratory, where you can learn a great deal about the markets and actually pursue a professional grade course, even though you're studying at an academic institution. So as we mentioned, we're in the heart of London. We're right in central London. We're all over the place. We do tend to upgrade the facilities fairly constantly, although we did a very significant, as I mentioned to you, refurbishment just now. We've got a social learning platform that Kavita will talk a little bit more about it. And what that means is we've got tools, Blackboard, but we've extended it markedly so that you don't have to be in the classroom to learn. In other words, learning will go on 24/7. It will continue, or at least you're given the opportunity to study 24/7 and to benefit from interacting with your instructors, interacting with other students, not just during class time or seminar time, but whenever suits you. There is a postgraduate study room, so we've got a dedicated lounge where postgraduates can congregate, they can get refreshment, they can talk to other postgraduates who might be in the same class or studying the same degree. And it's not like you're stuck in this huge room where there's, let's face it, we've got over 2,000 students, and a lot of them are undergrads. You don't have to put up with that. You're with people who are at your own study level. The library is open 24/7, so it's another mechanism where you can learn constantly. So you don't have to study, I should say, around a schedule that suits maybe a grumpy old librarian. We've got the building open 24/7. You can go there anytime you want. You can take books out. You can engage in any type of research activities that would take place in a library, and do it again on your own time. So it's very flexible. There's a student union, and we say active, and what that means is that they're there to help you. So they give you advice about courses, they give you advice about the institution, they give you advice about life in London. They're people, students like yourself, maybe a little bit further ahead in their academic careers, but they're there to help you. And another facet of the student union are clubs and societies. There's well over 100, and we mentioned sports clubs as well as societies. There's societies that are targeted towards your specific study. And some of them have academic involvement. I'm involved with a couple different societies that are focused around trading and investment. And we can talk more about that when the time comes. Now, one of the best things about being at Westminster is that I'm from New York, and I have to tell you, University of Westminster reminds me of the United Nations. Every time I go into a classroom, every time I go into a seminar, I go to a departmental meeting or I meet with colleagues, they're from a different country. And that's actually fantastic, guys, because we're in this era of globalization. And it's very important that you develop ties with people outside of your country, because from these social ties come professional opportunities. And Westminster is very unique compared to other universities in London, where there might be a significant number of students from one country, perhaps England, or other countries. So we're very diverse. And the final point, academics with industry experience, myself and Ali, who you'll be meeting a little bit later, both are academics in the sense that we've had strong professional backgrounds, and we've joined because we feel compelled to help students understand not only the theory, but what really goes on a trading floor? What really happens at an institution, a lending institution? It's radically different than what you might read about in the books, and we can help you. And we're not unique. Most of the academics in our department have significant industry experience, and either they've left industry, or in the case of myself, still consult with industry. So it's a very different institution compared to other ones that you could choose to study with, and we hope you'll join us. Now, in terms of the profile, where do they end up? What type of jobs do they get? Well, the list is there. We won't go through it. It's pretty much, what are you interested in? Where do you want to work? We give you ample opportunity during your study to target your selected program, and especially your capstone, your dissertation, so that will take you to the specific industry that you want. So it's not really, these degrees aren't really one size fits all. They're flexible enough that allow you to target your studies and your time here so that you can enter any one of these industries and more. And let's face it, finance is changing very rapidly. What we see up here is only a backward-looking view. I'm working with students now who are interested in working in investment banking, and they're interested in programming bots. And that's something that we'll talk about a little bit later when we get into my class. In other words, bringing bots and technology into banking. And University of Westminster is unique in the sense that we're one of the few institutions that allow you to target your studies precisely towards what you want to do for a career. You can see that when we look at the overall profile, relatively young, but not super young. You're not studying with, and I don't mean this to sound unkind, you're not studying with a bunch of 18-year-old kids. They're just mature enough that they're focused, they're driven, they want to achieve goals. 90% international, once again, that's extremely important these days. Why? Because it helps you develop it helps you develop networking opportunities with people in other countries that can lead to jobs in nations that you may not have never considered before. So we do help you a great deal. We're very focused on the end game meaning your job. We've got career planning advice. There's a dedicated office, once again, staffed by people who have their fingers both in industry as well as academia. We have frequent meetings with them, reminding them and helping them understand how our courses are changing. And we very frequently take on board what they're seeing in terms of industry demand, industry changing, to help make sure that our courses are consistently relevant. We're active work placing and internships, very, very important, guys. You get your foot in the door, and if you get into a bank or if you get into any other type of institution, a lot of it is fit. You get on with them, they get on with you, and you've got a job waiting for you when you leave. There's an advisory board. We'll talk more about that later, but there's a bunch of people at a higher level, again, that look out for your well-being. They make sure that the career that you want to go into is well reflected in the courses that you're studying. Mentoring, all the academics at Westminster engage in mentoring, which basically means that somebody's assigned and you can go to that person, you can speak with that person. And a lot of it, yeah, it is about industry. A lot of it is about jobs and things like that. And also we're there to help you when things get stressful, when things get a little bit too intense. We can help you just chill a little bit and relax and sort of get the bigger picture. We bring in speakers from industry. Very often we have people, there's a very active program where we bring in externals who are well known, and they talk about what they're up to. They talk about their industry outlook. They help you understand employability. And the final point is Westminster Business Consultants. That's a separate nonprofit entity that's set up, and we're well known. Westminster Business Consultants are well known in London, that they're people, that they're an organization, I should say, that industry can turn to if they need specific niche skills, and we offer that. This is all open to you if you choose to study with us. Now, about the master's program, you can see that's my boss there. That's Dr. Harry Thaper. He's in what we call the financial markets suite. We have a Bloomberg room that I manage and Kavita used to work in, and we'll tell you more about that. We've got 35 Bloomberg terminals, and I always tell people it's the closest thing you can be to a dealing room environment, this big room with these Bloomberg terminals that help you develop professional skills. We've got a relationship with CISI, the Chartered Institutes for Securities and Investment. We're a nominated, an accredited center of excellence. So what that means is that we don't give you exemptions. Employers don't look favorably upon exemptions. Our program is aligned with their exams, and what we do is we help you get through those exams. You just sail through those exams, should you choose to try to get that type of qualification. In terms of teaching, as we mentioned, we're accredited by professional bodies. Again, that's something that any institution in the UK will have, but where we excel is by we put theory into actual practice. We do internships, we do mentoring. I've hired many people, myself, to work at the bank that I work for. We've got real world data through the FMS. And as Ali and I will fill in a little bit later, we've got professional backgrounds. So we're here because we choose to be here. We're here because we want to help the next generation, which is yourself guys, the next generation get jobs and understand the industries that they're moving into. Now here's the overall specification. You can see the fees are a little bit different. Worst case is you're international, it's 14.5. It's an investment in your future. There's different entry points you can come in. We're talking about the January. We also have the September. These are the two programs we're going to talk about today, the MSc in Finance and Accounting and the MSc in Investment, Risk, and Finance. In terms of how we deliver the courses, 1 year full-time. Yeah, it's a year that's going to be, you're going to be challenged, you're going to be stressed, you're going to be tried, but you're going to emerge so much bigger, stronger, more competent. You'll have such confidence at the end. You'll be amazed at what you achieved, and anything you might run into in the future, it won't really throw you as much as it might otherwise. In terms of the entry requirements, I won't read through them. You can go through that, as well as the English as well. So we do require IELTS at a certain level. Again, that's for your benefit, because when you're in the classroom, you want to make sure when people are asking questions, they're not asking the lecturer to repeat 3 or 4 times something that you understood. A question is relevant, target, and focused on what the material is that you're seeing. Now, in terms of assessments, there's 3 key pillars here. First of all, your coursework. Now, every course, or every module as we call it, will have something that you have to do. Typically in the courses that I teach, it's a piece of independent research. So you do an essay. The essay has to be written up to a certain standard. The deadline varies across the modules, but again, the lecturers, the module leaders are here to help you. If you look at mine, for instance, and I can't speak about Ali's, but he'll help you out understand that. Mine, I give the students a full 10 weeks. I also have in-class revisions of the requirements for the coursework. And then I do a drop-in session where about 2 weeks before it's due, I do an off-the-record review. Again, my goal is to get you guys to pass, to get you through it. I want to put my consulting hat on. I want happy clients. You're my clients. So we do everything, and I'm not atypical. We do everything we can to get you through the coursework. The exam, 3 hours closed book, don't panic. Again, we do revisions that are very, very focused. There's nothing on that exam that's a surprise. We have past exam papers you can review. And when you think about the process of assembling a new exam paper, again, guys, a lot of institutions are a little bit different in that lectures are very disappointing in the sense it's almost like you have to prove worthiness. At Westminster, we're different. We like cooperation. We like to help people achieve their goals. So we tend to focus later parts of our lecture towards the exam on the exam. There's no surprises in the exam. Pass rates tend to be typically relatively high. Why? We're not watering down the material. The material is very, very rigorous. Instead, we're helping students at every possible opportunity to help them achieve the goals. And finally, one of the more important things is what I referred to as capstone before, a dissertation. So given the flexibility of our courses, the ability to put different modules in to structure your course of study to achieve your particular goals, you really target your dissertation towards the job you want in industry. 10,000 words, don't panic. You'll find that you're going to write a lot more than 10,000, and that's perfect. Why? Because your dissertation, to get the best possible grade, it's a diamond. Think about how a diamond, I've got a friend, she's a name for De Beers. And every six weeks or so, she actually goes off and buys a whole bunch of diamonds. She showed me one once. It's big, it's black, it's ugly. They take it and they chop away 2/3 of it, 3/4 of it, it's 90% sometimes, and they have a perfect jewel. So what I'm trying to say is you see 10,000 words there, you think, you panic, how can I do this? You're going to be writing constantly. Your advisor is going to be reading your notes, helping you focus, helping you create a jewel from all these words you have. So it isn't that you have to write 10,000 words, it's a goal. The problem we typically have with our students is telling them to say, whoa, cowboy, slow down. We don't want to write 30,000 words, we need 10,000 words. You got 20,000, let's make a jewel out of this. And the deadlines, you get plenty of time, to meet with your supervisor. Most importantly, you get plenty of time to review drafts. To submit a draft, we review it, we comment it, we send it back. There's no surprises. Now, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Ali. He's going to discuss the MSc in Finance and Accounting. Please, Ali.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. My name is Ali. I am not the course leader of this MSc Finance course. Hello everyone. Anyway, first of all, I wish to thank you for arranging this occasion. Can you come and say hello to the audience, please?
Hello, I hope you enjoyed the session.
Well, Philip now is in the class. He couldn't make it. He will try to join, but I will try to cover it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Right. Let's talk about MSc Finance and Accounting. Does it move like this? Right. MSc.
The right arrow.
Right.
Right arrow, I'm sorry.
Thank you very much. Now we can talk about that first complete stuff about this MSc Finance and Accounting. In this course, we are offering up to 9 ACCA exemptions. When you finish the course, you just get 7. But if you choose among 2 modules more in the class in the second semester, you can get 9 exemptions. That means you are partly qualified. And then after finishing the school, you will study your own professional exams and you will get the qualification of accounting. So what can we offer else? We also offer CIMA exemptions. Among 11 exams, you will have 11 exemptions. When will you get these exemptions? When you finish the school, when you get the diploma, everything, you will apply to the ACCA and you will tell them that you finished the school. We are a golden provider of this. And after finishing it, you will get within 15 days, maybe 20 days, you will get 9 exemptions. That's very simple. What else we can talk about? Well, we are in particular trying to prepare people for business markets, because in accounting and finance it's now getting very important for every business, and you can't see any company without any accountant in your life. So, but now the accountants are getting more and more involved in decision-making processes. That is why we are here. Coming from the markets, as an experienced people, we are trying to help all on these issues. I'm, for example, myself coming from a bank. I worked for a bank for more than 10 years as a financial analyst, credit advisor or something. And David is also coming from a very famous bank. He has spent a lot of time in the US and the UK. So we are highly experienced what we are doing, and we are very determined what we intend to deliver to you. So we will be preparing you to the market. But you are coming to London because you will be privileged first, because London is the most competitive city in the world. Forget about New York and other cities. London is a privilege. That is really will be adding to you, kind of adding value in your life and experience and then knowledge. We will be providing all these to you. What else we can talk about? Okay, we have now in this January for new starters we have 2 courses. MSc Finance and Accounting course is one of them. From January starters, we start with 5 modules, and then at the end, semester 2, you will get other options. In total, you have 9 modules to finish the subject, including the dissertation. There are some questions here. I will follow, but first, let me finish the slides, and then we can talk about the question. Well, these are our modules. Let's talk it and then make it simple. We have now, all right, I can't see it. That is, sorry about this. These are the core modules. We will start managerial accounting, financial accounting, and taxation, financial management, research methods, and project. Project means dissertation. And then you will have 2 choices. Among these different selections. If you choose, for example, the financial information systems and auditing and assurance professional ethics electives, you will get 9 exemptions. What I meant is you don't choose them, you will get only 7 exceptions. So it is up to you, and then I hope you will enjoy our classes. What else we have? Right. Where our graduates are going. But first of all, we want to make you employable here. Employable for big banks. In London, we have 560 banks. And all US banks, all US big companies, the audit firms, every company, even in they are not located in their country, they have offices in London. So you have lots of options. Our friends, I say friends, our colleagues, when they want to establish themselves within this London business, and then from the first day, they start exploring options, and then at the end, they get what they want. This is up to you guys. I mean, when you prepare, this is up to us to prepare us for this market, and it is up to you to present them to this market, and then you sell yourself. So on this, I don't want to go too further. Let's see what we have in our hands. For example, I'm coming from a commercial bank, and David is coming from the investment bank. We all know what is happening on these banks and what they are asking from you, how they want you to be when you go into interviews, how you behave, what kind of people they are looking for, what are the qualities they are looking for. We all are aware of it, and then we will try to teach it to you here. Okay, yeah. I am now finishing and handing the conversation to David, and then after everything, I hope I will try to answer some of your questions. There are very interesting questions asked to me, all of us.
Yeah.
I will answer those real estate questions. Wait, Adebayo. Adebayo asked an interesting question. I just realized that this is. I hope you can answer.
Okay, thank you very much, Ali. And guys, you can see that his program is very exceptional. It provides a distinct opportunity from the program I'm course leader for, which is investment and risk finance. And there I am in action on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, as we mentioned, that's my boss, Dr. Harry Thaper, and he's in what we call the financial markets suite. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So what do we offer you in MSc IRF, as we call it? Well, you're getting a degree that melds, that mixes both the theoretical and the practical. So even though we do what every UK institution does, is we cover the theory, as a practitioner, myself, Ali, other practitioners who are teaching at the university, we try to drive the practical. So we try to help you understand the theory like any UK institution would do, but we take the theory, we apply it to actual markets. And that's our competitive edge, our USP, if you want to call it that. We've got a purpose-built financial market suite. It's a Bloomberg laboratory. I'm going to change the name. I manage it. And the financial market suite consists of 35 Bloomberg terminals. And as I mentioned, guys, it's the closest thing to being in a dealing room environment, short of actually being on a trading floor in the City of London or on Wall Street. We're a recognized CSI financial market center. And once again, this accelerates professional acceptance. If you choose to study with us, when you get a degree from Westminster, you've got a very impressive qualification, MSc IRF, for instance. But then on the other hand, you can get these CISI qualifications as well. And employers see that. Now, I'm an industry veteran, as I'll explain a little bit later, and my wife still works in banking. And we both tend to look for these things as opposed to just a run-of-the-mill degree. In other words, it's a way to set yourself apart. Another thing we do in investment risk finance is we have topical presentation on market events. Now, as a practitioner and somebody who's still involved in investment banking, for me, what really trips my trigger when I speak to a graduate who wants to work at our bank, does he or she know about the markets? And just test yourself. The big news last week, of course, was UK CPI hitting 3%. If graduates come to us at the bank, and I'm interviewing later this week, if they don't know about that, I'm really not too inclined to hire them because they don't really demonstrate market awareness. They know the theory, they don't know the practice. It's a way to set yourself apart. And that's something that Westminster does that's very, very unique. We've got social and networking events, and what that means is we bring in external speakers. They talk about the markets, they talk about what it's really like, and you get a chance to meet them. And at these events, you get a chance to meet them after school in a social setting. People drop their guard, and they tell you what really goes on the trading floor. They tell you what really goes on in the office. If you look at the career destinations, pretty much it's infinite in the sense that we've got a very strong faculty. We've got 38 members full-time. We've got another 40 or so that are PTVLs, as we call them, part-time visiting lecturers, who are chosen primarily because of their industry knowledge and their connections. And these are all people you can build networks with, and they're people that will help you achieve your goals. And let's be honest, guys, your goal at the end of the day is to get a job and make lots of money, right? That's what you want. We want to help you achieve that goal. Of course, we want to help you get a degree. We're going to do that, but we're going to help you understand the markets. We're going to help you get hooked up with people that can help you get your first break, and that's all you need is your first break. And that's something Westminster excels at compared to other institutions. Now, in terms of the program, I'll let you read through this at your leisure. Once again, you can see the way you can slice and dice it. We've got these core modules, and then you put in your core electives as well as some other electives that you put together, and you customize a degree. And it's very often we see that no two graduates have exactly the same class structure, especially when you consider the project, as Ali mentioned, your dissertation. You put it together a way that helps you distinguish yourself in the market, that helps myself as an employer. I look at your CV and I say, that's the person I want, because he or she has studied not only the theory, but they did a piece of research, they did a dissertation that's on the precise topic I want, and it all comes together, and it's wonderful when it works. In terms of career destinations, guys, once again, we've got it here, investment banking. Now, that's my background, as Ali mentioned. I've done, it sounds like a prison sentence, doesn't it? I'm a 24-year veteran of investment banking and a bona fide member of Global Wall Street. I started out in the early 90s, late 80s, working for Deutsche Bank on Wall Street, then came over to Europe and worked in Frankfurt, worked in Paris, London, a bunch of places. So I can help you understand the investment banking world, what you can get yourself into, because it's not all money. It's a very challenging type of career. You could work in retail fund management, hedge funds. I used to run client money. I ran a hedge fund for about a year and a half. It's a different business. I can help you understand, and other faculty members can help you understand, is this for you? Sovereign wealth funds, they're the big elephants in the room these days. Big elephants in the room these days, guys. A sovereign wealth fund is a wealth fund that's assembled or run typically by a sovereign nation. Oh, the petrocurrencies, the Gulf nations are the typical entity that you think of. They've got lots of money. They need to invest it. They need bright young graduates like yourself that will help them understand the best place for their capital. Same thing with private wealth. Private wealth, or sometimes called private banking. You've heard of the 1%. In this environment, when you start to look at private wealth, you're not looking at what in the States we call mass market affluent, your run-of-the-mill millionaire. We're talking about people that are seriously liquid, that got 10 million or more to invest. They need expertise. They need graduates like yourself, they meaning that industry. And we have qualifications, we have degree programs that'll help you focus and get jobs in that business. Retail, private, commercial banking, and consultancy, all these avenues are open to you, and much more as banking changes. And as I mentioned to you guys, we've seen a lot of different changes in banking over the years. What we're seeing change now is the rise of technology. And I do speak on these topics a great deal. If you Google for David Coker Westminster, you'll see I've been on Al Jazeera, BBC several times. Given interviews to Guardian and BBC, I'm trying to think, a bunch of newspapers, about the way technology is changing and about the way banking is changing. And since I'm plugged into this as other faculty members are, we can change our courses, we can change our module offerings, we can help students understand precisely how industry is changing and how to change their course of study so that they can move forward. Now, in terms of the student experience, we got a couple different things here. You can read through these. I thought instead of me reading them, and I can't really talk about Fiorella's experience. She's moved on and she's doing trading. She's doing wonderfully from there, as well as Maria. I thought we'd have our colleague Kavita, who's a graduate, speak a little bit about her experience, and then we'll be pretty much done. So please go. You give up now, okay?
Okay, yes, I gained lots of experience from this university. I did my master degree start from September last year, and my background is it's completely non-finance, and at the first time I really worried that I cannot study this course because this one is really finance. I did the investment and risk finance, so but my experience is it's working in the cosmetics company in like kind of financial planning, so it's quite different from what I'm gonna study. But the professor here is really helpful. And I remember my first question to my course leader is like, I have no background in finance, and what can I do about that? And she just lists me like 10 of the books that I have to read through in the month just to begin this course. And it's like, okay. And she said, okay, you can come to see me at any time. So what's the good things here is like our professor is really open for your question. No matter what you want to ask them or about the theory, about the books or their experience, they're really welcome for the question all the time. And also with the Bloomberg rooms, the financial market suit, I have a chance to get a job there with David, and this really helped me in my study because I have no idea what is the Bloomberg before I came here, and in just the first month that I worked with him, it's like I gained a lot of knowledge from that, and yes, and also with the Bloomberg experience, so now I got a job in my home country, and I'm gonna start in January. So I think this is really helpful. Also with the library, I like the library here. It's like full of really useful books, and I spend most of the time in the library. I really love there, and it's 24/7. So if you want to stay there, you can just stay over the night. Yeah, and what else?
That's fine.
Yeah. So yeah.
Feel free to criticize us.
Oh.
We need feedback.
Yeah, because I'm really happy with the course because I get a lot, and also it inspired me. From I have no idea what kind of job I can do in financial markets or what kind of financial market would be, and the course here is just arranged in like from the first semester. It's kind of the basic knowledge about that, and it's also inspired me to choose the elective in in the second semester. So I think how they arranged the module is quite good. So it's really helpful. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. All right, guys. In summary, I think what you can see is that we offer a combination of theoretical and practical. We're very unique in that sense, and we didn't pick Kavita. She's the only happy student. It's something in the water, okay? So after you get here, after we give you your first glass, you'll see how it works.
Yes.
But yeah, all joking aside, London's a fantastic place to be, and the faculty here are all switched on. We all want to help you achieve your goals. And I wish you could see the room. There's a room full of people here. Marketing, you saw one young lady. There's a bunch of people here that, again, have set this up, and we want to communicate what we have to offer because we're trying to help you achieve your goals. The programs, we won't spend so much time talking about that. You could read that at your leisure, and Ali and I have talked a fair amount about that. Next steps, this is not how to apply. We want you to apply. So there it is. You've got the contacts there. Please send us a mail. Any questions you've got, we're here for you at any time. Social media, we've got a pretty big presence. Again, a dedicated team that are excited about Westminster, that enjoy working here, that enjoy helping students achieve their goals. And they're there for you. You can ask any questions you want. In fact, questions. Now that we've talked for a while.
If you go back to the email addresses that they need to send their queries, we put this please ask your questions here. If the questions are related to academic side, scholarship side, other side, they will separate, classify them, and they will distribute quickly. So don't worry, please, whatever questions you have, send them. Otherwise, we would be giving you our emails, but it would be helpful.
Yeah, just
because we may be having some general questions, something like this. These ladies will be your first point. Please send them without any hesitation, and you will get very quick answers.
Yeah, guys, we'll answer some of the questions that we've got here today. If you got any others, bring them up. But Ali raises a good point. You can push any questions through there, and we're open. You could add me on Skype. My name's Dave Coker, C-O-K-E-R. I don't live in London. I'm in Antarctica, and there's a reason for that. Not because I come from New York and I like it cold. There's too many Dave Cokers here. There's one in Antarctica. It's me. So add me on Skype, just chat, and I'll give you a call. We can talk a little bit about it, and hopefully we'll be seeing you here. So we do have some questions. I guess the protocol is, do we go through these first? Okay, good. So we've got some queries about scholarship. Now, guys, unfortunately, that's beyond our control. There's a cutoff period, and we've missed it. If you want to send an email through, we can talk about when the next period is. I know there's 4 questions from Kenya, Liberia, Nigeria. I used to live there, wonderful country. I actually lived in Lagos for about 18 months, fantastic place. And people talk about Lagos and they say it's dangerous. No, New York is far more dangerous. I felt at home when I was in Nigeria. Yeah, and Zimbabwe, never made it to Zim, but I always wanted to go there. But it's exciting to see all these destinations, and that's one thing I love about Westminster. People are from all sorts of different places. Now I've got a question here from Elizabeth Bennett about investment risk and finance, and we've got the timetable. Well, we've got dates all the way throughout 2018 specified. I'm not quite sure if that answers your question. We can go a little bit deeper. Access to networking events, they're on offer. So if you want to come to one of them when you're enrolled, that's perfectly fine. We do have others that the marketing team can make you aware of, where we invite students, or prospective students, I should say, in like yourself. We talk about the program, show the facilities, give you the all-important glass of water, and then you sign up with us, right? But yeah, all joking aside, please come in and visit us sometimes. What type of employment opportunities are there after completing the course? Well, again, you see the destinations. It's nothing we can really answer beforehand. It depends upon us working together to figure out what you want to do, and then we manifest that into reality. It very much is an actionable thing. We figure out what you want to do, we make it happen.
I just want to add on this. If you want to become a banker, if you want to become auditor, if you want to become analyst, if you want to become venture capitalist, you want to become entrepreneurs, you will be getting all this information from here.
Exactly.
If you want to go work for Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, BP, ExxonMobil, HSBC, bank, lawyers, whatever you like. These are not normal people. They like people living, working, studying, experiencing in life. It's very good. I mean, you will be pushing. I will not push my students to work with SMEs or something. I will push my students to work with international companies. And there are a lot here. And so we'll start pushing them. Of course, they will be very competitive. That is why we are here, to make you competitive. That is our motto. So I want you to aim for Lloyds Bank, big banks, big things. If you can manage it, you will manage it, I promise you.
Excellent.
Yeah, if you are determined, you can do it.
Perfect. Okay, I see that the remainder of the questions seem to be for Ali. They're finance and accounting. So I'll turn it over to Ali. I see a couple other that are sort of general.
Yeah.
Are there companies that recruit international financial students at campus?
Yes, of course. Yes.
Yeah. Now, guys, think about it this way. This is an era of globalization. Multinational people like yourself and what you're going to become by studying with us here at Westminster are rare. They really are when you consider there's 7 billion people on the planet. Of course there's opportunities on campus. Multinational companies will come here. Why? Because they know that Westminster has a reputation of recruiting students from many, many different nations. And when they need people like yourself. For instance, I talked about Nigeria, for instance, and I've lived all over the world, to be honest with you. But I know from my time in Nigeria that a lot of multinational companies recruited students from London, from Westminster actually, to work down there. Why? Because they needed people who were Nigerian, who had that edge, meaning they were educated abroad. They bring it back to the nation. They understand how Nigeria works, and then they can advise the New York-based company, in this case, about how to act and how to conduct business down in that nation. So it's very valuable to study at Westminster and to be a foreign students studying at Westminster. It gives you that international competitive edge. Compared to if we look back in the States, there's a lot of students that study in the States and they want to go abroad to work. Well, good luck with that. They study in America, they're products of America. By going abroad, you've shown some get up and go. You've seen some initiative that sets a spark off in the employer's eyes, and they know you're exceptional. And there's another one about real estate turnover. This is from Adebayo. And okay, look, I read the question. You come study with us. You put some money on the table. We'll help you figure out how to do this. Okay?
No, I just saw this question.
It's a good question.
Adebayo, you need to first do the budgeting.
There we go. Yeah.
Budgeting. I mean, if you have no budgeting, I am coming from banking background. I could offer you. You need to go to the bank. You can find the flexible loan packaging facilities.
Mm-hmm.
You see, if you are not balanced that day, you can go to the bank, and that facility always helps you. We always offer these things to our customers. If you do not like going bank, you need to
exactly
you
correct.
Need to do
yeah.
Very good budgeting.
Now, Ali, we got a bunch of questions here.
Yes.
I think it's the protocol to go through all these, then open it up. Okay, can we cap this at maybe 10 minutes, and then we'll open up to the floor? Is that possible?
Yes, you should.
So go through your questions. The remainder are for you.
Okay, here, first question says, how many ACCA exams does completion of this? Joseph, yeah, we have 9 exemptions if you take all the requirement. If you do not take 3 different courses, you will just get 7. Generally, our students take 9 exemptions, choosing the requirement, because this is ACCA requirement. We are golden provider in London. In London, only there is only one other university. So don't trust anyone who says otherwise. Another question is, what are the career prospects of the course, including examples of recent graduates? She's here. She's going graduate. She is about to start somewhere. I hope.
Yes. I'm going to start a work in my home country in risk management, but also I got my friends who now get a job in private equity or in the bank. So yes, we got a really wide range of the job for the students who graduate from here. It depends on which field you like, and after your study, you with every module you see that which one you like, and so you can get inspired what kind of job you want to do in the future after you graduate.
Well, one thing I can add, if you are good with numbers in London, people are looking for good predictors. Are you able to guess the future by doing analysis? They are looking for people, genius people. They are looking for people like you. They are not looking for colors or other stuff, religions or something like that. They are looking for here employ people. So they need you. If you are thinking that you are one of them, come here, don't worry, who will sponsor you, how do you find the job? Because they will find you. This is really simple. In London, they are looking for abilities, right? Abilities. Like these people who have these qualities. Show them that you have that quality. If you have that quality, please do not hesitate, just come. What support you can be offered for dissertation? We are all doing, I have finished my PhD in accounting and finance. I did capital markets-based research. I am studying earnings management, earnings forecast, what reaction markets give to any kind of accounting information. Of course, you see, it is highly correlated with each other. I have 12 students. They are now, I am supervising. They are all now doing capital market-based accounting research. They are really happy. Under our supervision, students do not feel that they feel impaired regarding the research opportunities, research subjects, and then how to prepare dissertation. And my students are not stressed, I should say, because Albert Einstein says, if you cannot teach very simply, you don't know the thing. So I think we are able to do this. Another question is, scholar's question David has already answered. It is not in our hand. We are academics. We are not deciding on this. When I know how, in regards to the gateway examination, okay, 11 and out of 16 CMA examination, you get QINA. No need to decide which path would you. No, you don't need to decide. When you finish, you can decide ACCA or CIMA. It's up to you. Another question.
Okay, we're going to have to open up to the floor.
Okay.
So I think we'll pause here. I think we went through all your questions. We'd like to open it up to you guys now and see if there's any questions we can answer, aside from where do you send your deposit?
Sorry.
Oh boy,
I assume you don't see the question.
I can't see that question.
So, shall I read them out?
Oh, yes, ma'am, please. Yeah.
So, Sufika is asking if we have a recording available where they can listen again to this webinar. I think I can answer that straight away. Yes, the recording of this session will be available to you this afternoon or the latest tomorrow morning, so you will receive it by email. So I hope that answers your question. She also asks another question about ACCA exemptions, but I think we've covered that already a number of times. She wanted to know how many, what does it mean, the exemptions, and how many she gets at the end of the course. Let me just more coming. Michelle Lazzarotti is asking if we can send them a list of books that they need to read, and they happen not to have any previous training in the financial markets either, and that seems to be a cost.
The books, we'd have to talk about the specific programs. See, here's the issue. We can give you a couple representative books, but they're tied to specific modules. So recall the list of modules that make up a course. So if we tried to send you an exhaustive list of all the books you'd have to acquire or read for a specific course, it would be a very, very big list. So if you have questions about a specific module within a specific course, we definitely can give you an idea of the books that you'd have to read or you'd be asked to read as part of the study material. So send me an email or contact marketing, and then we'll take that forward for you.
Great. Krina would like to know if the January starters will need to take exams and when do they take exams. Also,
Queen asked what can you read it? She has another question about this ACCA exams, and I thought what she is asking now.
When the examinations happen for January starters, as well as when does the supervision for the
so January starter would be
after May.
Yeah,
May and then September.
Yes, and also dissertation supervision. When does it start?
If you start in January, Quina, dissertation you need to submit around January.
The following year.
Following year.
So supervision in that case would take place in September.
Before that, you need to prepare some kind of research proposal. It starts from the fourth week actually.
Of September. So you have plenty of time because you'll start it in September. It will be due January the following year.
This research methods module already is helping you, guiding you
exactly
what you need to do. So I wouldn't be thinking about it too much. Right, really.
Perfect.
Okay, can we go to the next question? So Bojan from Croatia, he's got two questions actually. One about how the modules are structured, if they are for recent graduates only or for people with some experience.
I have seen this question,
So that's both. The first part.
We can say both because we accept people with professional background, and these courses modules are designed for people who start from after just graduation, or who can come from the professional extent. We do this mix, and throughout the classes, we do seminars, we do discussions, we do many things. Actually, putting this mix together, they help each other a lot, and they teach each other a lot. Sometimes that interaction really helping us what we want to achieve, because it is more than people are more than happy working with, discussing with other people from different backgrounds and different experience. This is really, really helpful to you. I mean, this is very advantageous, actually.
And also, Boyan wanted to find out about the internship. How does it work during a one-year course? So, would anyone of you would be comfortable?
Typically, it takes place after you've had one term. So we don't know each other during the first term. We're just getting to know each other, and we try to assess your interests. We try to figure out what you want to do, and then we talk to the employment people, and they typically will be looking for leads. And after you've finished one term, we find a lot of students, if they land an internship, tend to get it the second term. So that's the final part of their studies. And some students have actually taken leave of absences, and they've worked on the internship only and then come back to university. So it's flexible in that regard. They resume their studies, in other words.
Great. Christina says, thank you for the webinar. Also, she's got a question about the catch-up modules. If there are any at all, and when would they start?
Yeah, there's no real catch-up modules, Christina. What we do is we do a fairly rigorous 2-week induction, and both myself and Ali teach on that, as do other faculty members. And what we do during the induction is we show you what you have to know, what we expect you to know to succeed. And we give you enough time, we tell you the bare bones of what you need. And a lot of students from different backgrounds find that very helpful, because what they're able to do then is they're able to say, oh, I know this, I know that, there's nothing to worry about, but I don't know this. They go off and study it using the library or other facilities, and they're fine. So our classes are targeted towards people from other backgrounds. And speaking as somebody who, again, works in banking and hires people, I find that very attractive that somebody's got a multidisciplinary background. That's, as a hiring manager, I look for that, as opposed to some student that maybe did an undergraduate in finance, did a master's in finance. There's not a lot of breadth there. There's a lot of depth. I'm interested in somebody like yourself who's got something else to bring to the financial equation.
Christina again, how large is the MSc Accounting and Finance course?
Well, it is about 50, 60, sometimes 70, but we do seminars after the classes. That seminar cannot be more than 25 people. So we do first lectures, around 3 hours. After lectures, it will be divided into groups. Separately, there are seminars, and if there are requirements for the workshops, that group also does the workshop. So actually, you are donated. We offer 3 different options to do different things for the same subject or lecture. You will be a little bit busy about this if you are asking how much time you will have. I don't think you will be joining all these courses at the time.
Right, so far that's the last question from Francesco. He's going to be a student on finance and accounting course.
Excellent.
He would like to find out if there are any sessions regarding IT that are useful in the accounting sector. So something they could practice with computers. I assume that might be linked to Bloomberg or other things.
Well, I think David, regarding this question, put me aside. That question reminds me something. When you come here, I am telling you, you will be going with banks or something like this, but you need to know what they are looking for. You need to know first Bloomberg, right? You need to know some kind of, you need to know Excel, you need to go, if you aim to get big banks, big places, you need to know something useful to you. And they want to see in your CVs, like knowing Bloomberg is very helpful. And we have this opportunity. And then maybe knowing Excel, maybe if you know some accounting programs, SAP or something, they will be all helping to you. Right. I mean, if you want to add something.
No, it's fine. I mean, Ali covered it pretty well. We offer, during induction week, we offer a Bloomberg session, and we're very switched on with developments in the field. For instance, I've been using Bloomberg for 30 years. It doesn't mean I teach the same old thing all the time. I try to help students understand what is going on in the field, what students need to succeed, and this time, at this year at induction, I gave every student Bitcoin, which you've probably heard of. Again, if you Google for Coker Westminster Bitcoin, you'll see we got a lot of media coverage off that, because that's something innovative, something that no other university in the UK is doing. We give you ample IT support. We give you all the training you need to succeed. we're very much focused, guys, in helping you succeed, helping you achieve your goals.
Okay, I have here another question. I got conditional offer for finance and accounting and MSc. Do you have? Yeah, we have professional courses as well. If you are not aware of it, it starts from 5.5. Yeah, you have that option during the summer. I have lots of students doing peer sessions, and they joined us.
Excellent.
Yeah.
We think that it's all for now.
Is it okay?
3 minutes left.
No questions? No?
Okay, guys, we want to see you here in London. Come on, come have some water with us. Drink the water.
Okay, Francesca again.
Oh, here we go. Oh, please, yeah.
What about software like Sage?
Sage,
There is any lessons on practicing with this sort of software?
Now I teach Sage in the first year students. Yeah, if you know anything about Sage, it's wonderful. So if you want to learn it, you can join also my classes. You are not bound to only to MSc classes. I teach Sage, and we also intend to introduce some other accounting programs that the market uses. So yeah, in terms of accounting programs, Sage is always helpful.
Thank you very much, Francesco.
You coming, Francesca? Come on, we're going to see you.
It seems that it's everything for now, but you can still send in your questions by email after the session.
Yes, please.
And you guys got my Skype. If you have any questions at all, please, we can talk off the record or on the record.
Yeah.
We just hope to see you here sometime.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Finish?
Have a nice day.
Bye from London.
Thank you very much for spending time with us. Very
Perfect.